We're all told that we should invest money for the future, whether it's for a house or a dream holiday or even for retirement. But how do you invest if you don't have a lot of money in the first place? And you need to use it to pay the bills. Well, for some great advice, we have the wealth mentor finance expert, Jackson Millan, here on the desk at Studio 10. Hello.
Thanks for having me. How are you all doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you. A lot of us think that money's only for the rich, and if you don't know money, you can't do much with it. What are your thoughts on that?
Here's the thing, I come from pretty modest means. My parents were both tradespeople. My dad was a rigger and worked in the oil and gas industry most of his life. My mum was a hairdresser. Both of them had a pretty tough journey. They had accidents that impeded their ability to build wealth, and they struggled for a lot of the time. So I come from humble beginnings, and I wanted to try and revolutionise the way that people approach the language of money. So over the past 10 years, I've really just trying to work to build a methodology that people can relate to. And unfortunately for most, money is positioned as the destination. They're trying to chase a dollar figure in their bank account, and unfortunately it doesn't mean anything. So we're trying to align people with their destination, the things that are important to them, the things they're trying to create, that they believe in, that they're passionate about, and utilise money as a vehicle to get them there.
So it's a form of happiness rather than having it there. It's being happy on the journey.
Correct. And that's the title of my book, Enjoy the Journey. It's about paying homage to where you've come from, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to create for yourself and your family, and keeping things simple. I think the language of money is very complex.
Yeah.
And a lot of people look towards, or they're kind of, I guess, distracted by these sophisticated strategies, like we're in the world of cryptocurrency and all of these crazy things that are distracting us, and it prevents us from taking action because we're spoilt by choice.
Because that's the whole thing. You sit there and you go, where do you start? For instance,
100%.
I was always told that the only way to make money using a bank is to have shares in it because they're the only people that make any money out of banks are the shareholders. Is that a good idea? Do you buy some shares? Do you buy a property? What do we do first?
Yeah, so here's the thing. We're in a low interest rate environment globally, and the thing is that it's very difficult to make money when we're playing it safe. So if we're going to keep money in the bank and we're going to be putting money into, say, a term deposit or something that gives us some security, we need to be willing to take a haircut on the returns that we're going to get. Now, the whole idea of this is about having a familiarity when it comes to investing. And I think a lot of people make their investment decisions out of fear because it's that fear of making the wrong decision. Particularly given that the global financial crisis wasn't all that long ago. A lot of people feel like, well, what happens if the market falls by 40 or 50% again? What's that going to mean for my retirement?
What happens if you get bad advice, like we've seen out of the Banking Royal Commission? People are, you know...
I agree. And look, I think that the issue is that the industry as a whole has been built on complexity, creating complexity to, unfortunately, in some cases, prey on the weak. So I think the only way to cover that is to educate yourself. You need to have a base level understanding, and unfortunately it's not in our education system today.
And it should be.
By all means.
I would love to see this kind of information taught at schools.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
You know, a class once a week, a period once a week where you sit down and talk about the economics of being a human being at that base level.
Correct. And look, I remember back to high school when we did commerce and business studies and these types of things where they gave us $1,000 play money to invest in the share market without any clear objective in mind. Now, let's put this into perspective. If you're going on a journey, what path do you take if you don't know where you're going? Imagine going to a travel agent and saying, hey, should I catch a plane? Should I catch a boat? I heard it's great to drive around the countryside this time of year. What are they going to ask you? Where are you going? So I think that it's important that we define the destination first. And money's not the destination, it's the vehicle.
But it's how you think about money. I was just
100%.
talking to Pete. When I earn anything, I know that I only get 2/3 of it. So that's all that's how I... But the mentality is when you get a lot of money, you just spend it, not putting that other... But I have found that investing is risky, having lost money, but that was from bad advice, from two separate business financial advisors. So when you feel like that, what do?
Yeah, I think that's that fear. And I think that it's about trying to educate yourself so you can make decisions for yourself or in partnership with somebody as opposed to trying to outsource the whole decision-making to someone else. And here's the thing, that a lot of people tend to be very tactical when it comes to investing. They're trying to look for the hot stock, they're trying to look for the hot suburb where they can go and invest and make it rich quick. It just doesn't happen. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So there's some really simple ways that people can get started with investing, and that's what we're here for, right?
Say we've got $500.
Yeah, so the good thing is that with technology, it's only getting easier to get started. There's some great micro-investing apps that are out there these days where they even round up your spending. If you go spend $1.50, it'll round it up to $2 and invest 50 cents for you. So do a bit of research into these things that can help you get started. Now, when it comes to investing, it's about understanding the fundamentals. This is about trying to understand that when we're investing, we don't want to be stock picking. We don't have the time or the expertise to do it. Even myself, I don't stock pick.
Right.
I invest in a particular way that's called index investing. Are you familiar with that term?
No.
Let's keep it real simple.
Yep, okay.
So instead of going into, let's say, the Australian stock market and picking CBA or BHP, we can go and accumulate what's called an index, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with the term, the ASX 300.
Yeah.
You've probably seen it flash across the news when you're watching the telly. That's the top 300 companies in Australia. Now, you can buy an investment fund that essentially gives you allocation to all of those 300 companies in one investment.
Right.
So you get the average of what all of those are doing throughout the year. Now, some of them are going to do great, some of them not so good.
Yeah.
But the ones that don't do so well, they typically will fall out of that 300 and be replaced with better companies.
Right.
Ah. Yes.
All right.
So
Now-
can we sum up into some do's and don'ts?
Yeah, we can sure do that.
Yeah.
So the first thing is get clear with what you're trying to chase.
Yeah.
Define the destination.
So say it's a holiday or it's
Correct.
a car or something
Or
that
even
you
your
want.
retirement. You need to get clear on what you're actually trying to do,
Yep.
how much it's going to cost, and how long you've got to get there.
Right.
Yep.
When it comes to investing, there's three variables. There is how much we can contribute, how long we're prepared to wait, and how much risk we're willing to take and the return that we're going to get for it. So we've got to be clear of that. The next part is understanding our tolerance to risk. There is a relationship between risk versus return.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that in a low interest rate environment, we need to take a little bit of risk if we want to get those returns that we're chasing.
Yeah.
But don't put
that's-
it all on 22 at the roulette wheel.
Correct.
Yeah, and look, the other
But it's
don'ts is
risky.
don't play around and also don't speculate. It is
Correct.
really good advice, and you can read more about it in Jackson's book.
I'm keeping this one.
Please.
It's called
I'll even
Enjoy
sign
the
it for you.
Journey, Creating Wealth and Living the Life You Desire. It's available now, and everyone in our studio audience is going home with a copy. If you'd like to check out more information by starting your investing journey, you can head to the Facebook page and search this book. Thanks for joining us, Jackson.